Hamdan confronts his father. Hamdan storms into his father's study, his chest heaving with emotion. Sheikh Mohammed sits calmly behind a grand mahogany desk, his expression unreadable. Hamdan, Baba, I won't do it. You can't force me to divorce her. Sheikh Mohammed, leaning back in his chair, his voice steady but firm. You are not a child, Hamdan. You know that in our world, love is a luxury, not a priority. This marriage does not serve our family's interests. Hamdan, his eyes darken with frustration. Is that all she is to you? A mistake that needs to be erased? She is my wife, Baba. My life. How can you expect me to tear my heart apart just because of interests? Sheikh Mohammed exhales, his fingers interlocking. You were not raised to think only with your heart. You know the consequences of defying me. Hamdan steps closer, voice shaking. And what about the consequences of obeying you? Do you think I will ever forgive myself for abandoning the woman who stood by me through everything? Do you think I will ever look at myself in the mirror and not feel disgusted? Sheikh Mohammed, his tone sharpens, authority taking over. Enough, Hamdan. You are a sheikh, not a lovesick boy. This is not up for discussion. You will divorce her, Hamdan, his throat tightens, desperation creeping into his voice. And if I refuse? Sheikh Mohammed meets his son's gaze, unyielding. Then you will no longer be my son. Silence falls between them like a blade. Hamdan's breath catches, his world crumbling beneath his feet. His father had given him an impossible choice, his love or his legacy. His heart or his blood, a heated confrontation between Hamdan and his father. The air in Sheikh Mohammed's private study is thick with tension. The golden chandelier above casts a dim glow over the polished wooden floors. Hamdan stands in front of his father's grand desk, his fists clenched at his sides, his heart pounding. His father, Sheikh Mohammed, sits with an unreadable expression, his hands clasped together. The silence stretches unbearably until Hamdan finally speaks. Hamdan, voice trembling with emotion, Baba, please. Don't do this. Don't ask this of me. Sheikh Mohammed exhales deeply, shaking his head as if disappointed. Sheikh Mohammed, firm, yet calm, I am not asking, Hamdan. I am telling you. You will divorce her, Hamdan, his jaw tightens, his voice rising slightly. And why? Why must I give up the woman I love? Because it doesn't serve the family? Because it doesn't fit into the image you want? Sheikh Mohammed, leaning back in his chair, eyes sharp, you speak as if this is about my personal wishes. It is not. This is about duty, about honor. Your marriage, Hamdan, interrupting, his voice raw, my marriage is my life. My love. You want me to end it as if she is nothing but a contract that can be torn apart with a signature. Sheikh Mohammed, cold, controlled. If you had thought with your head instead of your heart, you would have realized that love alone does not sustain a man in our world. You are not an ordinary man, Hamdan. You are my son. And my son does not make reckless choices. Hamdan, anger flaring, his voice almost breaking. Reckless? Is loving her reckless? Is choosing to be happy reckless? Baba, she stood by me when no one else did. She is not just my wife, she is a part of me. Without her, I am nothing. Sheikh Mohammed watches his son carefully, his face unreadable. He takes a slow breath before responding. Sheikh Mohammed, tone hardens. You think love is everything? That you can survive on love alone? Love is fleeting, Hamdan. What is not fleeting is power, stability, legacy. You are a sheikh first, before anything else. Hamdan, shaking his head, voice desperate, no. I am a man before I am a sheikh. A man with a heart, with emotions, with a soul that aches for her. I can't just throw her away like she means nothing. Sheikh Mohammed gazes at him, expression unreadable. Then tell me, Hamdan, what will you do? Will you defy me? Will you stand against your own blood for the sake of one woman? Hamdan swallows hard, his entire body trembling. His father's words hit him like a blade to the chest. He wants to scream that he would stand against the world for her. But can he stand against his father? Can he bear the weight of his legacy crumbling beneath him? Hamdan, barely a whisper, Baba. Please, Sheikh Mohammed, stern, unrelenting, it is done, Hamdan. You will let her go. Hamdan's world shatters. His hands shake, his breathing uneven. His father has spoken, and his father's word is law. He feels his heart breaking, a sharp, unbearable pain. But even as the walls close in around him, he knows one thing: he cannot let her go. He will not. Even if it means losing everything. The breaking point, Hamdan stands frozen, his chest rising and falling rapidly. His father's words echo in his head like a death sentence. His fingers dig into his palms, his breath uneven. The weight of duty presses against him like a crushing force, but the thought of losing her. It's unbearable. Hamdan, voice low, but firm, no. Sheikh Mohammed raises an eyebrow, his gaze narrowing slightly. His son has never dared to defy him before. The room feels colder, the silence heavier. Sheikh Mohammed, measured. But dangerous, no? Hamdan, lifting his gaze, his eyes filled with raw defiance. I won't do it, Baba. I won't divorce her. A tense silence stretches between them. Sheikh Mohammed leans forward, resting his elbows on the desk, his fingers interlocked. His expression is unreadable, but his authority is absolute. Sheikh Mohammed, voice sharp as steel, do you understand what you are saying, Hamdan? What this means? Hamdan nods, his voice steady despite the storm raging inside him. I do. Sheikh Mohammed, leaning back, studying his son, then let me be clear. If you refuse to obey me, you will face the consequences. Hamdan, swallowing hard, but refusing to back down. And what are those consequences, Baba? Will you strip me of my name? My title? Will you cast me out? Sheikh Mohammed, cold, unyielding, if necessary. Hamdan exhales sharply, his body tensing. His father's words are not an empty threat. If he chooses love, he risks everything: his inheritance, his place in the family, the empire he was meant to lead. But what is all of that if he loses the woman who makes his life worth living? Hamdan, desperate, pleading, Baba, I am your son. Your blood. Have I ever disappointed you before? Have I ever strayed from my duty? Sheikh Mohammed, expression darkening. And that is why this hurts me, Hamdan. You were raised to understand the weight of responsibility. But now, you are acting like a foolish boy who thinks love is stronger than duty. Hamdan, shaking his head, his voice breaking slightly, love is stronger than duty. Love is what makes duty bearable. You taught me that power means nothing if you have no one to share it with. She is my strength, Baba. How can I be the man you raised me to be if you take her away from me? For a brief second, something flickers in Sheikh Mohammed's eyes, something almost like regret. But it's gone just as quickly, replaced by cold resolve. Sheikh Mohammed, standing up, his voice final, you will divorce her. Hamdan. This discussion is over. Hamdan's breath catches. His father turns his back to him, the dismissal clear. Every muscle in Hamdan's body screams at him to fight, to keep arguing, to make him understand. But he knows his father. Once Sheikh Mohammed has spoken, there is no changing his mind. Hamdan's fists tremble at his sides. His mind races. There is only one thing left to do. Hamdan, voice low, filled with quiet determination. Then you leave me no choice, Baba. Sheikh Mohammed turns back slightly, his brow furrowing. But before he can speak, Hamdan steps back, his expression unreadable. Hamdan, eyes burning with resolve. If I must choose between my love and my duty, then I choose her. With those words, Hamdan turns and walks away, leaving his father standing in stunned silence. The weight of his decision crashes over him like a tidal wave. But he knows one thing for certain: he will not abandon his wife. No matter what it costs him. The storm within, Hamdan walks out of his father's study, but his mind is a battlefield. His heart pounds violently against his chest as he storms through the corridors of the palace, his father's final words echoing in his ears, "You will divorce her." But he can't.